The Nord-Elec site in Pointe-Saint-Charles is set to go through big changes in the next several years. A commercial developer wants to build a huge business hub here, the size of 17 football fields. But in the midst of a housing crisis, local residents are pushing back. This 1913 building was refurbished in 2007. It was turned into commercial and residential space. The owner at the time had plans to do the same with the parking lot next door and other nearby lots. This resident loved the idea. He moved in 2015.
It was part of the sales. It will be retail commercial on the first floor, and the next 7th floor will be condos or apartment with a huge courtyard right in the middle. And we saw the 3D plan and I was like, yeah, this looks good. It's awesome. But it actually never materialized.
The site changed owners, and the new one has different plans. The new project consists mostly of office space with a possibility of housing. Neighbors complained during public consultations about the project's lack of clarity, so the borough responded by adding certain conditions. The developer has to build a minimum number of business spaces. There's also a maximum for housing, but...
Donc il n'y a pas de minimum.
Non.
Il peut être zéro.
Oui.
Right now, we need more than a couple thousand of new, really affordable units that can house everyone in Pointe-Saint-Charles.
The borough says if the developer decides to build housing, 15% has to be affordable units, or it can make an almost $2.8 million payout. But social housing isn't a must. That's because the previous owner did that. As the city sets to give the go-ahead, this housing group still finds everything too vague.
We don't want to give a blank card, a free card to the developer to build whatever he wants without having to go in a further consultation with the public.
In a statement, the borough says it is listening. It says it banned short-term rentals like Airbnb on the site. There would be no dance halls or performance venues to keep the peace. But the borough says the company behind the project is a commercial developer, not a residential one. Montreal's public consultation office recommended to keep all the new buildings at a maximum of 25 meters, which is Nord-Elec's current height. But the borough says 44 meters, like the developer wanted, is necessary to make room for green space. And all the buildings would be at varying heights, so as not to obstruct the view of the neighborhood.
If we don't densify close to downtown, where are we going to build new buildings?
This urban planning professor says the project isn't a bad idea.
What they are trying to do is to generate a small neighborhood in and around the Nord-Elec building, where there are lots of exchanges, lots of smaller companies who may create some dynamism, because isolated companies often don't interact together. So the idea is to create what's called a cluster.
Residents aren't satisfied, and they'll keep fighting to keep the neighborhood they want.